The news I'm about to share with you is personal to me. In a small town in Slovakia, in which the Jewish community was all but annihilated by the Nazis, the ancient Jewish cemetery was vandalized with spray painted Nazi swastikas. Well, I'm joined by my friend Shari Dollinger, co executive director of Christians United for Israel. Shari, this is obviously a personal story for us because it's the hometown of our mutual friend, uh, Auschwitz survivor, Holocaust survivor, Irving Roth, who passed away a few years ago. So, what were your initial thoughts when you saw this report?
Hey, I'm heartbroken. Irving, for anyone who had the blessing to meet Irving, was a ray of light and beauty and hope in a dark world, particularly one who survived Auschwitz, survived the Holocaust. And they killed Irving's family, his life, his friends, his community. And now in death, they are still wreaking havoc and pain on a Jewish community that's no longer. It simply is heartbreaking.
We made a documentary about his life, and we went to this kind of obscure Jewish cemetery in Humenné, Slovakia. I want to read a quote from an article. It said, "Of the 2,200 Jewish citizens deported to the concentration camps from Humenné, only 176 survived and returned. Almost all of the survivors left in the years after the war. The town currently has no active Jewish community." And so I think the question, Shari, as someone who's dedicated their life to this, is why, in your estimation, does this keep happening? It almost feels like, and I hate to say this, like white noise, where it's like another vandalization, another act of anti-Semitism in Europe or in Australia, in the United States. Why do you think this is, I guess, ramping up in a lot of ways?
It's just pure hatred. It's pure, unadulterated hatred. Anti Semitism, as Pastor Hagee preaches and teaches, is the first hatred and the oldest hatred in the world. And there's no rational why. And that's why we can't wrap our minds around it, because we are God fearing, loving people who do not intrinsically hate people for absolutely no reason. And that's the core of anti Semitism. Anti Semitism sounds nicer than what it is, which is Jew hatred. And if you are going to leave your home somewhere in the middle of Europe where you might not have ever met a Jew in your entire life, because your grandparents or your parents may have helped know Jews, no in a very nice way of saying they may have been complicit in the killing of the Jews that used to live in your community. Yet you still have such hatred in your heart that you are going to spray paint the only living memorial to the fact that there was once a thriving, beautiful Jewish community. There is no why. It's just hatred.
And I think that's the thing is, this story has been hard to even talk about, just because it is so personal to both you and I, Shari. Because this Jewish cemetery is kind of on this hill; it's off the beaten path. It's literally a memorial, as you said, to a forgotten existence. The Jewish community of Humenné, Slovakia. It's kind of a small town, and to you almost, it's almost one of those things where you have to like pull the vines off the bars to get into this thing. It's old. It's basically forgotten. But to go out of your way to go there and to do this, to me, and I've always said this, that anti-Semitism is demonic. It's not just racism. There's something really evil about this. And I think the question that people have, Shari, and again, you've dedicated your life to this, is what am I going to do with this? How do I help? Obviously, anti-Semitism is spreading all over the world. We talked to our Jewish friends in Australia; they're scared. Our Jewish friends in the UK and France are talking about making aliyah to Israel just because they're terrified. So, how does the average person, here in the States, combat anti-Semitism?
Thank you, Raj. And I appreciate that you've dedicated so much of your life and your time to supporting Israel and combating anti Semitism. I've been blessed to work for CUFI for 18 years. And the first decade or so working for CUFI, Pastor Hagee would always say, "We're here to support Israel and the Jewish people." And I would say, Pastor Hagee, it's 2007, it's 2010. Thank God the Jewish community in America, the Jewish community in the world are safe. We need to focus on Israel. We need to focus on Israel. And Pastor Hagee, in his infinite wisdom, understood that anti-Semitism is never really dead. And so CUFI, we've been committed to combating anti-Semitism since our inception. And what does that look like for the average American? First and foremost is educating yourself. 48% of young Americans cannot identify a single concentration camp. So it's critical that we know the history of the Holocaust, we know the history of anti-Semitism, or we're doomed to repeat it again. And then once you know the history, do more than just hold on to it, educate others, and share what you know in your spheres of influence, your church, your community, social media, so it does not continue to happen. And that's why we at CUFI, we are so committed with our core and our essence and the vision of Pastor Hagee of ensuring that not only are Jews safe in Israel, but Jews are safe everywhere in the world.
That's a really disturbing statistic. I didn't know that 48% of young people can't identify a concentration camp. You know, you and I have actually been in Auschwitz together, I think multiple times, in Majdanek. We've been, you know, in Warsaw in the Jewish ghetto. That's a really disturbing statistic, Shari. I did not know that. Okay, so last question, Shari. You are in Israel. You are, you know, the country's opening back up to tour groups and stuff like that. Now that the Jewish people have a state, and you know you're there right now, and since I have you, what do you want folks to know about the Jewish people, the Jewish state, and specifically Israel, that might be misconstrued on their news feeds?
First of all, thank you for the question. It's so refreshing. At CUFI, we talk about 7 attributes of Israel, and we talk about how Israel is biblical. I'm actually sitting right now on the shores of the Sea of Galilee. And for many of your viewers, they will conjure up an image of Jesus walking on the water. I came from the ancient city of Sfat, where some of the greatest rabbis taught and preached, and headed to Jerusalem tomorrow. So Israel is biblical, but not only in the times of the Bible. Israel is a vibrant, thriving democracy that is deeply committed to civil rights and human rights of all of its citizens, regardless of religion. Christian, Jews, Muslims, everybody prays in freedom and dignity. And Israel's committed to also preserving the life of our enemies. That Israel, over the course of the last year and a half, and well beyond the last year and a half, has always been the center of the storm when it comes to UN resolutions and the world condemnation. And again, it goes back to the senseless hatred that we talked about at the beginning. If you look at the actual facts, black and white, there is clearly an aggressor, which is the larger Arab world that has attacked Israel mercilessly. And then when Israel defends itself, Israel is attacked in the international media and the UN for defending itself. All Israel wants to do is live in peace with its beautiful mosaic of citizens, all races and ethnicities and religions, and live in peace and enjoy calm and quiet in the region. And it's our wish and our prayer that one day our neighbors do as well.
Shari, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you.